Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Thursday, 3 July 2025. I am Langton Mwanaka, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Journalist Zaba back in court for bail hearing. Stop it. Zimbabwe is not your tuck shop. As rights activists rallies citizens to stop Mnangagwa. Freedom at last. Honorable Chibaya acquitted over a year after arrest. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. Zimbabwe Independent editor Faith Zaba was today back in court for bail hearing, having spent the night at Chikurubi Female Section Prison. Zaba is facing charges of undermining authority of the president over a satirical article published under the Mark Cracker column in the paper. Her arrest and detention has received a lot of attention from local and international human rights defenders who are accusing Emmerson Mnangagwa's regime of trying to silence journalists. Let's hear from her lawyer, Chris Mike, explain what transpired.
Today, the 3rd of July 2025, we appeared once again before Magistrate Mr. Rakai Chikwekwe for the continuation of bail proceedings for Faith Zaba, the editor of Zimbabwe Independent newspaper. You will recall that yesterday, at her initial court appearance, the bail proceedings were postponed since the state needed to consider the medical documentation that had been submitted, which presented Faith as someone who is not in good health. The confirmation has been done, and the state has confirmed that the documents that speak to a being of poor health are legitimate and they are genuine. The state has not opposed the granting of bail to Faith, but under our law, even where there is consent, the magistrate must be convinced that the accused person before them is a fit candidate for bail. So we made detailed submissions in support of the granting of bail to Faith. Regrettably, when it was time for the ruling to be delivered, the magistrate says he had not finished writing his ruling due to a power cut at the magistrate's court. We were therefore requested to come back to court tomorrow, being the 4th of July 2025, when we expect the magistrate to have resolved his challenges regarding power supply for the gadgets that he is using in writing the relevant judgment. It is extremely unfortunate that Faith Zaba spent yet another night in custody. She goes back to Chikurubi Female Prison pending the finalization of the bail proceedings. It is our hope that when we come back on the 4th of July 2025, the magistrate will have completed the judgment writing process and that the ruling will be in our favor. We are highly hopeful that bail might be granted, but at this point in time, the bail application is yet to be concluded. It will be concluded when the magistrate delivers his determination as to whether Faith will get bail or she will not get bail.
Top human rights defender and veteran trade unionist Obed Masaraure has rallied citizens to rise up and stop Emmerson Mnangagwa's continued abuse of human rights. In a powerful statement released on his social platforms, Masaraure said it's time for youths, church, women rights groups, students and workers to regroup and challenge Mnangagwa over corruption and rights abuses. His comments comes after the arrest and detention of ailing journalist Faith Zaba. Let's hear Masaraure speaking.
Emmerson Mnangagwa has already outdone Robert Mugabe with regards to corruption. The levels of corruption that we are witnessing under Emmerson Mnangagwa has never been witnessed before, even under Robert Mugabe. The levels of repression, the level of judicial persecution that we are witnessing are extraordinary. Mugabe never did anything of that sort. So we are seeing extraordinary persecution of the citizens, extraordinary repression, massive looting of our wealth. So a serious dictatorship that is now more entrenched than ever. So if we came together as citizens in November 2017 and agreed that enough is enough with Robert Mugabe, what is stopping us now to come together, including those who are employed within state institutions, including those who are in ZANU-PF, those in opposition, those in labor, the students, everyone, all the workers, all the informal sector economy, the peasants, everyone, the church, to come together once again to agree that we made a mistake in 2017 when we allowed the removal of Robert Mugabe and his replacement of Emmerson Mnangagwa. But it is a mistake that we are prepared to correct, and we correct it together, and we ensure that the same will never occur again. We say we are no longer interested in having politicians leading us before the state institutions are reformed. So we will need the establishment of a national transition authority. That authority will then lead the process of restructuring our state institutions to ensure that we have impartial, efficient state institutions that serve all the people of Zimbabwe, not that a clique, not only serving a clique who are in power. I want a state for everyone, and it is now time to fight for it. We should demand an NTA now. In fact, Zaba should be released, but she's not going to be the last one. So we demand urgent reforms through an NTA, but that doesn't come for free. We have to fight as a collective.
After spending months in and out of courts since his arrest in July last year, citizens organizer Honorable Amos Chibaya was finally acquitted by the courts yesterday. Honorable Chibaya, who was out on bail, was facing trumped-up charges of inciting violence following his address outside the Rotenero Magistrate Court in Harare, briefing citizens about outcome of Avondor 78 court case. Honorable Chibaya went on to spend more than a month in pre-trial detention. We spoke to Honorable Chibaya to hear his views following his acquittal, and he said,
I was not supposed to be arrested in the first place because I did not commit any crime. The regime is targeting all opposing voices in Zimbabwe. But let me put this very clear, that the regime will not succeed. We are deeply committed to transforming the lives of Zimbabweans through a citizen-first approach, rooted in integrity, accountability, and our unwavering faith in God. Our mission is clear: to defend the rights and advance the interests of every Zimbabwean, ensuring a just, prosperous, and democratic future for all. We will not stand by in the face of any attempts by the regime to undermine our constitutional freedoms. Such actions will be firmly opposed. Change is coming under the able leadership of our citizens' president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Aluta continua. God is in it.
Lawyer and human rights defender Musa Kika has said the piece of law which was used to charge Zimbabwe Independent editor Faith Zaba is no longer in tandem with the provisions of the Constitution. Kika said Section 33 of the Criminal Law Codification and Reform Act has been 4 times in the past, with the court on all occasions hiding under technicalities to avoid declaring the law unconstitutional. He said the law, which is often used to target journalists, rights activists, and opposition, belongs to Museum of Legal Relics, as it is unconstitutional. In Bulawayo, the High Court yesterday ruled that the expropriation of land belonging to prominent human rights lawyer Sifosami Malunga and his business partners Charles Moyo and Zephania Dlamini was unlawful and unconstitutional. The trio at the Shelma farm said by ZANU-PF administrator Obet Mpofu. Opposition official Eric Gono said by seizing land from black Zimbabweans, Emerson Mnangagwa is reversing the land reform program. Gono said,
whilst the land reform program was chaotic and poorly executed, we think that the black beneficiaries of that program must now maintain the ownership of the land. We did not anticipate or expect fellow black people to then go and seize land again from other black people who would have benefited. So this attempt by Mr. Obet Mpofu to take land from fellow Africans, fellow black people, was an unfortunate incident. But to thank the High Court that has ruled that Mr. Malunga can get back his land together with his partners. We are amazed by Mr. Mpofu's attempt to reverse the land reform program. This is also what we have seen from even their president, Mr. Mnangagwa, trying to take back land from black people who would have benefited from the land reform program, when the fundamentals of the liberation struggle was to make sure that black people own land, black people own means of production. And it's amazing and surprising, shocking even, to see that there are black people who are also anti-fellow black people. So we welcome the High Court's judgment, and we hope that it was going to be implemented. Mr. Malunga and his partners can get their land back.
Opposition youth leader in St. Mary's in Chitungwiza, Abisha Chitsungo, today presented himself to the police in company with his lawyers. Chitsungo is facing charges of inciting public violence following community resistance to land barons who occupied land at Forward Shopping Center without offer letters from council. Some of the individuals who grabbed land at the shopping center include non-state security agents and ZANU-PF supporters. Reports are that corruption-accused businessman Kuda Tagwirei was yesterday co-opted into ZANU-PF Central Committee by the Politburo of the party. It is also reported that Tagwirei dished more than 300 vehicles to all members of the Central Committee and Politburo. Tagwirei is said to be Emerson Mnangagwa's preferred successor, and his elevation into the Central Committee is seen as a step towards the highest office. Opposition official in Bulawayo Mayor David Coulthard has said he is worried by plots by Tanzania government to poison his friend and jailed opposition leader Tundu Lissu. Lissu's party, Chadema, yesterday released a public statement saying they have uncovered a plot to poison the opposition in jail. The Chadema leader is facing treason charges and has been denied bail by Tanzanian authorities. In Equatorial Guinea, a former Director General of the National Agency for Financial Investigation was sentenced to 18 years in prison for embezzling government funds. Baltazar Ebang Engonga made the headlines last year following publicized linked sex tapes involving numerous women, including wives of top government officials. Let's take a look at our sports news. Liverpool and Portugal forward Diego Jota has died in the early hours of this morning following a car crash in the Zamora region in Spain. He was 28. The accident also claimed the life of his brother Andre Silva, who was also a footballer, aged 26. Police say the cause of the accident was due to a tire burst that caused his Lamborghini to crash and catching fire. May his soul rest in peace. Chelsea have completed the signing of Brighton and Hove's Brazilian forward João Pedro for £60 million. Pedro is already in the US with Chelsea squad and might play in the quarterfinals of FIFA Club World Cup after being registered by the club. Meanwhile, former Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga signed for Arsenal in a cut price of £5 million deal. To conclude our Citizens Movement radio news, here are the headlines once more. Journalist Zaba back in court for bail hearing. Stop it, Zimbabwe is not your tuck shop, as rights activists rallies citizens to stop Mnangagwa. Freedom at last, Honorable Chibaya acquitted over a year after arrest. That's all for tonight's news bulletin. Thank you for listening to CMR. Join us tomorrow for more news and updates. Until then, good night and stay informed.